What's going on, you guys? Coaster here. I have not talked about Raiders football in a very long time. Figured I would just say something about this team with what just happened as the regular season ended. I mean, you do have to just tip your cap through everything that this team has gone through. And that goes before Gruden and the emails came out. I mean, this team had people leaving for tax reasons. There was some issues with the move to Nevada. Yeah, you could look up all that stuff before the season even started. There's been issues. So, yeah, you could talk about how a player who I'm not going to say out loud got pretty much killed a woman. You could talk about the bad emails, you lose your head coach. You could talk about having a quarterback like Damon Arnett putting a dumb video out and he's already a bust on the field. Yet they're 10-7 and they make the playoffs. I mean, they really went through a lot, and I do have to give credit where credit's due. That being said, the Raiders' season is not a success unless they win a playoff game. I've always said that because the playoff win drought is long and annoying and old. And here's what's fitting. They're playing a team called the Cincinnati Bengals who has also they have the longest active playoff win drought. They haven't won one since the 90s. It happened in, 1991? So I think it counts towards the 1990 season. But yeah, they have not won a playoff game in all these years. You think about those times they had Marvin Lewis. One and done. It gets old. So one and done, I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to go nuts and gung-ho about last night's game too much today. I mean, happy about it last night. I get it. No problem. But when it comes to this season as a whole, they have to show that they can win a playoff game and show that they're good when it matters most. I mean, the defense right now looks good until crunch time. So that classic Raiders we've been seeing before. Last night we saw a lot of that. Was it 5 or 6 fourth downs and they convert all of them? I mean, what the hell? 4th and 21 and you give up a touchdown. It's so insulting that this team still can't put away an opponent. Yeah, last night for me, I don't know how you reacted to the game. I'm curious, but my reaction was just, all right, breath of sigh of relief. I'm just relieved they won. But I wasn't really cheering or going nuts because it's like, you should have had that game won maybe 10 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. You blew it. You blew a 15-point lead and let the team back in the game. It's been very common for the Raiders to dominate a game and they still blow it or almost blow it. Playing a 50-minute game, a 55-minute game, a 58-minute game. I've just seen that before. It gets old and I'm so jaded over this. Even no matter who's the head coach, no matter who's in charge, they're still doing it. Where they look good for so long until the very, very end. That being said, the Raiders would have lost a game like that like they did last night. And then, thankfully, I do have to give the positives. The MVPs would be, of course, Hunter Renfrow, Max Crosby, Daniel Carlson. Those are the main three for me this season that we don't know where this team would have been without those three guys. Because people would have thought Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs not looking good. This team's already doomed. Yet Hunter Renfrow, I'd say, don't want to sound like a homer, but Steve Largent. He's got a lot of Steve Largent in him. I don't know about you. I can't say I watched Largent in his prime, but when I think about the size, you think about his skills and his inability to be fast, but he's smart. I mean, and he's short. It reminds me of Steve Largent. Not everyone's going to be like that, and he's got a lot of traits that, like the former Seahawks receiver that used to own the Raiders and everybody else back in his day. It's something. Yeah, Max Crosby is all about him having a good second half. He finally put a good second half together because the first half we've seen it clips before. And then, of course, Daniel Carlson. Where would this team be without him making all these clutch kicks when it mattered? Because the Raiders are still mediocre, okay? They may be 10-7 and they're winning these games, and it's nice to see them winning instead of losing, but it's been hard. It's still annoying to be a Raiders fan because they can't put away an opponent when they're supposed to. Like, I understand playing close, like the Colts game. I get it. That's an opponent you actually was playing well coming into that. That wasn't going to be easy. But the Chargers, when you're up by 15 points and you can't put away a damn opponent, I'm just angry. I just kind of jaded. And right now, you come into the playoffs, you say, oh yeah, you worry about that next. Well, I have to worry about that now because they're playing this Saturday. And as I said, a win or a loss will define a successful season. Because if the Bengals win, that ends the longest playoff drought. Only 3 teams currently have a longer playoff win drought it's longer than the Raiders. You have the Miami Dolphins on 2000, the Detroit Lions on 1991, and then the Cincinnati Bengals in 1990 or 1989. I have to look again, but I know that those three teams are the only ones in misery. Everybody else has won a playoff game more recently than the Raiders. That, of course, includes even the Bucks, who were stuck on the same year as us until last year. So, yes, I care about that playoff win drought like anything else. It's been 19 years. And as I said, getting in is just not enough for me. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to talk week by week. I'm not going to just come out of hiding because they won. I will wait until their season is over to really fully look at the season. And until otherwise, unless they make the Super Bowl, yeah, that would be funny. I will preview the Super Bowl no matter who's playing. But I'll do my classic State of the Raiders video, the full version, when the season is over. Really just evaluate this team because I still feel like this team is full of lame duck coaching staff. And of course, if Mark Davis has already hired a coach or wants to get some coach ahead, then that new coach is likely going to blow up this roster, and there's going to be somewhat of a reset. I mean, new coaches are going to want their players. That's how it is. I don't know. Derek Carr has gotten a million chances, and it's good to see he's going to get a playoff game because he was robbed about 5 years ago. But it's just annoying when you watch him. He can look great one day, and when another play, he sucks. He's just average. I'm sorry to say, but that's what he is. He's an average quarterback who can look great one play and bad the next. He's not consistent enough to be that guy that we want him to be. No matter what stats you throw at whatever I'm watching, I see a guy who makes ill-advised decisions or he tries to get that cute fade, tries to get that pass interference because he knows he could see the situation, but you're not getting that against playoff competition. Last time the Bengals shut them down, who knows what. But yeah, the Raiders, they're not bad, they're not good, they're just there, and to their credit, I like that they played for the win against the Chargers. They didn't just take a knee and go for the playoffs. You play to win the game, as Herman Edwards would always say. I don't buy the timeout narrative of the Chargers. The Raiders were probably going to run the ball anyway and kick a long field goal no matter what. But to get like 10 yards from Josh Jacobs on the last play, yeah, it sure helped. I was just half angry when that game ended. I just wish I could feel a little more happy. But they're in, fine, they're in. There is still ways to go, but yes, it's one step. The work is not over. I don't know what you're thinking, but that's my state of the Raiders for now. They've overcome a lot, and I do have to give credit. They didn't fold when they could have done that. They had losses to Washington, New York. Some really bad teams in between, and even the Bears, some teams you're supposed to beat, yet they still got it. Overcame already things I've said before, and they're in the playoffs. So, high five and virtually short-term enjoy it, but work is going to be on Saturday, and it could all end in one game. We'll see what happens, but I will do my State of the Raiders at the end of the year. Whenever the season ends, I'll just have to look back and think back on the season, how they did. Let me know what y'all thought so far this season. I think there's still... It's just they got a little more lucky this year than previous years to get to 10-7. That's about it. I'm out.